the rule of threes, which is the idea that 1/3 of the audience I already hear from will support. 1/3 of the audience that I never hear from will support. And 1/3 will be from strangers. And I think that that's kind of a good rule of thumb to see, am I ready? Is my project ready? And if you can say with confidence that 2/3 of your funding will come from people that already follow you and are either silent or already engaged, then you probably will be able to make a successful project. But if for the most part you're going, well, I'm going to rely on most people just finding me, you're going to be in trouble.
And like for that game, you could do engaging stuff like, hey, every time we hit a new $100 tier, we're going to release game art.
Yeah.
And it could be something as simple as, you know, element design or to character design, to even character designs that you don't include in the game. Like as long as you're trying, like with Kickstarter, you basically have to lay yourself bare and say, this is who I am. Come take a look. Am I worth it to you? Like it's literally just being super upfront, super honest, and making sure that you keep that interaction going until you deliver the project.
Yeah.
Because if you suddenly like go dark right afterwards and you don't connect with that audience, that's when they're going to start mobbing. That's where they're going to start thinking it's fishy. And that's where a lot of the mistrust has come from, is that people will have these wildly successful projects and, oh my gosh, it's so awesome, and we're so excited. And then you don't hear from them for months. And say you gave someone money and they were supposed to give you something and you just didn't even hear, hey, I'm working on it. Like if you didn't hear that for like, 2 months, what would you think? Oh, they took my money and ran.
There's
well,
also a lot of merit to thinking about what kinds of updates you're going to be doing during the project.
Yes.
I recently backed a Kickstarter called The Reward, which is an animation project. And I remember backing it thinking, there's no way in hell they're going to make this, the number is too high. They're not seeing a big enough support at the beginning. They were halfway through and it was like 30%. I'm going, oh God, guys, you are not going to make this. And then they pulled out all the stops on those updates. They started running art chats where they would invite people to come in and they'd say, we will draw for free for you. We'll randomly pick things out from a bucket of suggestions and we will draw that. We will give you that art for free. And then they would post it the next day after. And, wow, I really hope that you guys can make it to the next one because this was amazing and I hope you told your friends about it and this was so exciting. And then they released, I was seeing every single day updates. And for me it was kind of like, whoa, guys, it's a little too much. You know what? They made their funding. Yeah. Beyond all expectations, they made it. And they just kept doing, the reason that worked is because around those social events, they were organizing viral media bursts. So they would say, hey, you know what would be really cool is if everybody at the same time tomorrow would talk about our project. And then suddenly you'd see this huge Twitter burst the next day where people were like, oh, that's cool, I can get in on this. So staying involved with your community both during the project and after the project is key. Yeah. Because you're building your brand. I think the thing that a lot of people look at Kickstarter and they go, hey, free money, yes! But think of this more in terms of a long-term investment. And what you are investing is you are creating a social contract between you and your supporters in some way that could be a long-term loyalty. You're building your brand, and if you betray people at the very beginning, you will never be able to be successful in the future because you will have made that black mark on your record forever. So everything you can do to let people know that you care, that you are invested, that you are going to be there, and that you are going to fulfill your promises, no matter what that promise is important. Yeah. And people understand life comes up, delays happen, but tell them, be transparent with things. There was a documentary called Stripped that was about the changing face of comics and how that comic strips are kind of being stripped of their livelihood because newspapers are sort of struggling right now and maybe dying out. The jury's out on that one. But they ran a first campaign, very successful, but a documentary is very expensive to make. So they ran a second campaign because what they ran into was that they wanted to use proprietary footage, not realizing how much proprietary footage can cost. And we're talking about a 15-second clip that costs $6,000 because it's owned by some big commercial entity that says, no, we own that footage and that's how much you have to